All right, you guys, I started hacking on this Jeep. I got to get these sides off of here, this cowl out of here. So you can see I took my plas and I just ran it around the edge of the firewall. Just knocked out the centerpiece. I'll come back with the grinder, clean up what I need to. We're gonna start cutting this floor out. Oh, shoot. Anyways, I was just thinking of something with those ribs in there. That's gonna be a problem the way I want to bolt this up. So I'm gonna probably cut this floor long. So from the side, I'll probably cut it out here, just to kind of see where I can line this thing up. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to notch these ribs here and here, the A and B pillars, to bolt up to the car the way I want it to. So I'll probably cut these floors a little long. I see there's a big giant steel plate right there too that's covering a rust hole. I might just cut around that, flip the side over so I can unbolt that. There might be one over here too. But you guys can see why I'm chopping this Jeep up. It's rusty, it's bad. I kind of felt a little bad about chopping up a Jeep, but it's so rusty, it was going to the junkyard if I don't fix it. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Once I get this main floor cut out, all this crap cut out, I'm gonna split this body right down the middle. Actually, I'm gonna measure a line right now. I'm gonna measure this window frame, this rusty window frame from here to here. And I'm gonna mark the center here. Mark the center here. Sorry, you guys, I forgot to plug my GoPro in last night. And it sat in the shop all night. I left it out here, so now I'm fighting extension cords again and being plugged in so I can record. Yeah, my bad, sorry. So I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make this measurement before I get too much of this body cut away and it starts getting real. Because as soon as you cut the floor out of this Jeep, it's gonna be like a limp noodle pretty much. It's just gonna be floppy, and yeah, until I can get it reattached to the car and make brackets and all this stuff. So yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna mark center line here and back there in between there. I'll probably throw a chalk line through the center. I might just split the whole thing right down the middle and work on one half at a time, kind of whittling away at it. So I just don't want to cut too much out of there that I may need. I know none of the firewall is going to fit because it's got to fit over that car. So yeah, and even that's going to be iffy at best if it fits. Like I said, I'm going to have to widen it. I'm really worried about these corners being round because that car is square. It's totally square right there, you guys. So in order to get this to line up here and still fit here, I'm not sure what I'm going to have to do. I may have to 45 all this and reinforce this with a piece of tube. I don't know yet. That's going to be a little tricky. We'll see what happens though. It may just line up perfectly. I don't know. We'll see. All right, you guys, I did want to show you this. So after I got this firewall cut out, I started thinking about this a little bit. I know I'm going to have to split this down the middle. So I went through and I took a bunch of measurements. So here to here, and then I wrote it on the body, 14 7/8. Measured the window frame from here. From there to there, it's 57, 55 and a half, 55 and a half. Then I came back to the back because I'm splitting this thing down the center, so I want to get it same distances apart. So this is 36 inches in between here. So I marked it here and here, measured top and bottom just to make sure that I'm getting this thing as close to being straight as possible, because I'm going to have to cut this down the middle and reattach this. I do have some ideas to try to put some structure back in this thing once I get these sides cut off, because I know it's going to be just a floppy noodle. Yeah, we're gonna have a little like square tube structure inside of this thing, I think. Maybe like 1 inch square tube, real lightweight stuff, just to give this body some rigidity. Yeah, but I did take those measurements just to make sure once I split this thing, like once I get this thing cut, there's no going back. Like I'm stuck. I can't read. I mean, I could, but yeah, by the time you cut it, it's just gonna be, it is what it is. So I'm gonna start working at chopping this thing. I think what I'm gonna do is cut right down the center. I marked the floor in the middle here and there. I'm gonna draw a chalk line. I'm gonna split it down the middle there. I'm probably gonna come right up to here, split it right through the tunnel. Then I'll split that back and this with a cutoff wheel, not my plas. Because this, I need to have a really good edge to put this back together. So I'm gonna, that's gonna kind of, I could probably do. Sorry, somebody just went flying by. I was trying to see what they were doing. But I'm gonna cut this with my cutoff wheel to make sure that that line and that one in the back are like as crisp as I can possibly get them. The plas kind of gives you a little bit of rough edge. Even like if you're following something, it's still, you're cutting with heat. So It's leaves a little bit rougher edge. That cutoff wheel, it's going to be precise and precision. So that's what we're going to do. And then I'll figure out how this thing's going to line up. It's going to take me some doing, you guys. I'll show you when I get this thing cut back apart. I might try to record some of me plazing this thing apart. It's going to be quick. This one down through here is going to just be rough. I just need it cut apart so I can start dealing with the two halves, get the fenders out of there, some of the floor, to see how it's going to line up with that. So that is what I'm going to be working on. There's a brace right there in the middle, you guys. I just cut a hole open so I can get my sawzall in there to cut it the rest of the way. I'm gonna snap a chalk line back here on the back. So I got a straight line to cut to. If I can find my chalk line. Chalk. I don't know where my chalk line's at. That's where markering it. Devil. About messed up, you guys. That was close. I don't want to cut that back there. I want to make sure I cut that with my cutoff wheel so that it's good and square. Same with up here. But I think I'm almost through this whole thing. Yeah, so I still got this line to cut, you guys, right here. I'm going to draw a couple more lines. I almost plowed through the back of this thing right here, and I don't want that. I need a really good crisp edge right there. And I got this stupid piece of aluminum on here. Somebody else put it on there, so I need a good crisp line right there. I got to redraw it. It's crooked, you can see it. Yeah, so I'm gonna pull this, draw the line, and I'll get my cutoff wheel and I'll cut this one, and I'll cut the dash, or the cowl dash. That cowl probably. So we'll get that. Wow, son, sorry. Yeah, we'll get this and the cowl cut. I'm gonna get these pulled off, and I'll get back to you when I start cutting that. We got this Jeep cut apart. I split it down the middle. You guys saw the marks that I did. So here's one half. You guys can see this thing is rough. Like, more rough than I think me and Dylan even thought it was. So whoever previously owned this Jeep was very intelligent. You can see it looks like they kind of at one point tried to scab in a panel right here. They bondoed it. And this Jeep has literally been 1, 2, 3, 4, at least 4, maybe 6 different colors. Oh yeah, because there's black up here too. So, and I don't know, maybe this was replaced at one point from a different Jeep, but I've seen black under other spots in this thing too. Even the cowl, where I pulled out the little sprayer, there's black paint there too. So I know it's been minimum 4 colors, maybe 6 colors, but they literally bondoed all of the bad. You guys can see how bad this is. This whole panel is gonna have to be replaced all the way out to about here. Same with here, you can see they got little wormholes where they, yeah, it's bad. This whole lower section's bad. This is all bad. I'm a little worried about over here too. I'm gonna keep picking at this. This Bondo literally was a ½ inch thick right here in this corner, you guys. It's tweaked and bent and it's just not happy right now. I think I can save a portion of it. I don't know, I've been looking at panels, see if I can get new panels, but I think for now we're gonna go with this and at least use it for mock-up so I can figure out where to cut it to make it line up with this car as good as possible. Yeah, we got some rust repairs for sure to do. We'll see though. Yeah, this whole front panel's got to be replaced too. It's all rusty. I mean, you guys can see, look at it. That's supposed to be like 90 degrees because this is. So once you cut the floor out of these things, they're just like a limp noodle and they just wobble all over the place. I mean, you guys can see that thing is wobbling. And it doesn't help that there's giant holes in it where the A and B pillars should be. So yeah, we got some work to do for sure. We'll get it though. I'm sure some way or another I'll get it. We're gonna learn how to do rust repair. I've never done I've done a little bit of it. Not a ton though, so we'll see how flat and straight I can keep these panels. The good thing about it is the way I'm gonna mount it to the car, we're gonna mount a piece of angle iron to the bottom of that BMW, which will be at the bottom of this rail. Then there'll be a plate that goes over the top of this of like 3/16 that'll be bolted in. That's how it's gonna bolt the body to the car. So any imperfections that I get down in here where the main part of the rust is, it'll probably be covered with some steel. It might even be 1/8 inch, but I think I'm gonna do 3/16 just so I can really clamp this car, or this Jeep to the car. Because essentially this is this is like 3/16 angle. I'm gonna line that up on the bottom, and then we're gonna drill and tap holes through that after I get it welded to the car. And that's where the Jeep body will bolt into. And then the plate will go over the top of it to pinch the body between the two plates. So that should keep it rigid on the bottom. And then at the top, I'm gonna do some kind of structures up here where it'll hook in. I haven't quite figured that out yet. I figured I'm gonna get this kind of mocked up the best I can with what I got here. Then we'll deal with some rust and how I'm gonna mount this top section to keep it supported. Obviously I gotta widen it. It looks like only 2 inches right now, depending on where these horns hit the cowl. These horns on the BMW, I think I showed you guys before, they're square. This is round. Now you can see the problem I'm gonna kind of run into with this being flush. I'm hoping that the car is actually looking down the car this way, that the horns are in more than the rockers, so that it should go around it. It is a little bit. You guys can see the rockers are here and the horns right there. So I'm hoping that cowl will make that corner without me having to cut a ton of this out. I do got to trim it right here for the hood. Pretty much from here all the way to about there, it's going to be cut out. What I'll probably do is pie cut both sides and fold this back in and re-weld it, just to clear the hood, so I can get the hood down low enough. I don't know if I talked to you guys about that yesterday, did I, Dylan? I'm going to try to use this stock BMW intake. Obviously, I'm going to get a new one because this one's broke. I do like where it lines up with the grill. I'm going to cut holes through here. I'm going to eliminate this latch, and we're going to use the BMW latches. There's one here and one here. I left the cables in the car. They're here somewhere. Oh, right there. So there's 2 cables on a BMW. One runs the latch on this side, one runs the latch on this side. That's all still in the car, so we're probably going to figure out a way to make that hook to the Jeep hood. So it'll be like stock stuff. You just pull it and it'll unclick this hood. We'll probably still put the safety latches out here on the outside, mainly just for looks, to keep it looking like a Jeep. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at, you guys. I got a lot of work to still do. I never ordered metal. I was going to order it Friday and I didn't. So I'm going to call Steels Etc. in Great Falls, have them deliver it next weekend. I think my wife's going to be out of town next weekend, so I'll be able to sit out here and drink beer and get this thing put together, hopefully. Ish. Still trying to figure out how I'm going to do these, lengthen these. That's kind of a complex, weird piece. I'm thinking about making some new dies for my bead roller that are this exact shape, so I can just put it in there and run it right through, and it'll just bead roll this out of one panel. The problem is it's multiple steps and an angle, and then it actually folds around the other side too. So I might have to do this in sections and just weld them in, sand everything smooth. We'll see. That's going to be a little difficult, especially because I've never really done a whole lot of bodywork stuff. So we're going to get a little bit of a learning curve on this. I might end up ordering just the straight panels. I think I can get just the straight panels in between the door, which will allow me to extend this thing to 25 inches. So I'm going to stretch it. Yeah, that's a lot. So we'll see. We got to cut the back of the car off still to clear this also. So we got a ways to go. But I'll show you guys where I get when I get. We're out here, it's like Tuesday night after work. I had to get a little bit of work done. Yeah. This is a lot for me to kind of process and how I'm gonna make all this work, you guys. I called the guy that had this car and was hoping I'd get some more parts from him. Doesn't sound like it's happening. So putting the stock BMW dash in it, it's probably not happening. I'm gonna have to figure out, I wanna keep the heat, you guys, and the AC. I'm gonna build a full custom aluminum dash. I'm gonna bead roll it, same with center console. It's gonna be awesome. That's down the road. I am gonna have to figure out, so this is like radio. I know that because he cut it off and he gave me this part. I gotta resolder all the wires back in there. I'm gonna have to figure out heat controls. I'm gonna have to get those. I kind of want to keep the cruise control in this. This is all the wipers and stuff. Eventually someday I'm gonna hook that up. These parts are missing, so I'm gonna have to order that. The good thing about it is they're 3 pieces, so I can just order that one. Should be able to retrofit most of that. I'm gonna have to tie Jeep wiring, motor for wipers to this. That's gonna get interesting. It's quite a ways out of my realm, but I'm sure I'll get it done. But that's down the road, you guys. I just kind of wanted to let you know. I also wanted these side skirts. You can see where this Jeep is lining up. I know I got a ton of rust I got to fix, you guys. I know that. I wanted these side skirts to fill this gap and give me a line to line this body up with so that it's true and square, because I got to obviously add 25 inches to it to make it a 4-door Jeep. Yeah. And I still got to figure out how I'm going to build this. I was contemplating building another set of tipping dies to roll this at least this side, here, 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 and here. I just don't know if it's going to work or not. Then I'll have to obviously build the back lip for it. That's going to be different. I mean, literally, you guys, you can see what a Jeep, hopefully, yeah, see that shape right there? So it drops down, there's a step, an angle, a step, then it steps this way too. So that's going to be difficult. I might have to do this in multiple pieces, or I might have to buy a whole nother tub, or the pieces that go, they make like patch panels that go like right here and right here, but they don't give you this part, which I'm going to need another one right here. And I'm going to need I think I actually have the rear because I got the corner. So I have that, but I'm going to need a filler piece and this side of it. That's going to be difficult. I haven't done a whole lot of bodywork stuff, so we'll see how that goes. That's going to be a learning curve. I'll let you guys know how it goes as I kind of start doing that. That's just kind of an update. But tonight, this is what I'm working on, because the back half of this car's got to come off. I got to get all this off and most of this going that way. But before I do that, so when oh geez, I think I showed you guys when I cut the roof off this car, I measured from door to door, from there to here. I wrote my number right here, 57 3/4. I cut the roof off, remeasured it. It moved a 1/16 of an inch. So I know this car is structurally okay down here. Once I put the roll cage in it, all the structure will go back to it. What I did lose. But this back half, because I'm going to lose all this windage tray area and most of this corner, and obviously you guys seen this corner is crushed. I'm literally contemplating cutting this car off right here. Around the seats, around the shock tower, sorry. This way, around the seats and up over the strut towers. That's why I'm making these. So what I got here, this is a piece of Schedule 80 pipe. I think it's, I don't know what size it is. Let me check. I want to make sure you guys know what I'm doing. So if you want to build one, let me use a good part of the tape that you can actually read. So it's like 2 3/8. It's like Schedule 80 pipe. So for people that don't know it, you measure pipe on the inside. That was outside dimension. So it's 2-inch Schedule 80 pipe. It's measuring 2 inch right on the nose. So this is 2-inch pipe. Literally all I did, I had a piece of like, I don't even know what thickness it was. It's pretty thick. I don't think it's quite 3/16. It's like diamond plate decking. Where did I put it? Where did I put it? Right here. So somebody dropped this at my house. It's pretty close to 3/16. It's pretty heavy duty stuff. So not quite as heavy as the Schedule 80, but it's pretty close. So I literally hole sawed out a plate. Hopefully you can see the diamond plate down in there. So I put the diamonds up, and the reason I did that is because I needed this fairly flat. Because this is going on top of my struts. Whew. One of these days I'm gonna have to expand my shop. It's getting too small for all these projects. So this is what I'm doing, you guys. I need to support these strut towers so they don't collapse when I cut the rest of this car away. So I literally originally I cut this at 4 inches. It was really tall. I mean, it was another inch, so it was like up there. It was pretty tall. I didn't need it that tall, so I cut them down to 3 inch. I took a hole saw and I cut a circle, dropped it in here, and I welded them in. And then I just ground this smooth, so I had a good mating surface for this to butt against down in here. Because what it's got, I'll show you the other side. So that one's installed. This is kind of what it's got, you guys. So that's down in the strut tower. That's the captured nut with a washer and a rubber grommet on it that holds the strut in this car. And literally that's why I got a hole in there. This hole drops down over the top of the strut tower, or the top of the strut. And then I'm dropping this captured nut in that bushing down over it. So that'll essentially go there once I unbolt it. I'll drop the bolted from the top. And this is what I'm gonna do, you guys. This is another piece of Schedule 40 pipe. I'm gonna run it straight across to the other side, to here. Then what I got right here, where all this wiring is, there's these 2 nuts right here. I gotta look under here to see what it's hooked to. I'm hoping it's hooked to the top of the differential. They look kind of like rib nuts, so I'm guessing they're not hooked to much. But literally the bar from here to here is gonna keep this car from collapsing when I cut the rest of it apart and cut the back end off of it. Because I got to cut 10 inches or more. No, it's probably like 20 inches actually. I haven't actually measured. I'm just kind of eyeballing it. I think it's pretty close to that. Essentially where that battery is in the corner, I got to cut right through the middle of that. So I'm working on taking that tray out for the spare tire stuff. But what I'm going to do, once I get this pipe in here from strut tower to strut tower, I'm going to run a V from here to this spot. I'm gonna make a plate right here that goes over this, and my tubes will tie into here to those. That'll hold that strut tower good and strong. Then once I get that in, I will make disconnects here where my roll cage will tie into that strut tower so that that's good and strong. Once I get the cage in it, this car is gonna be really strong. Probably stronger than it was from the factory, honestly, because I mean, it's just a bunch of like, this is lighter than 16 gauge. I'm gonna put most of this car Jeep body back together with 16 gauge because I have it. It's just a pinch thicker than what this car is probably made of. It's close, it's just a little bit thicker. You'll never notice it because I'll line it up from like the outside this way, and the thickness difference will be on the inside, so no one will ever know but me and everyone on YouTube, yay, like always. But that's my game plan. I'm gonna get that in there, and I'm gonna start working on where this rear section of this Jeep's gonna go. I still have to cut the other half of the tub apart to get my front section and my rear section on the driver's side over here. I have my front section for the passenger side. My rear section sitting over there on the ground past my plasma barrel in between my welder. So I'm gonna try to work on getting that corner so bad, you guys. I'm kind of worried to deal with it because it did get hit there. It's pretty mangled. That's what it's supposed to look like. That's pretty flat, and everything on that side is pretty crushed in. That's why I'm really contemplating cutting the fender wells out of this thing, just leaving the strut towers. I'll have my strut brace in, and then my cage will tie into that, and I'll bead roll new fenders into the Jeep body that'll go around the roll cage. It's kind of my thought right now. I'm not 100% yet. Once I get that strut tower in, and I know that's good and strong, I'm gonna finish plasma apart the other part of the body. so I can get my other section up here. I got to figure out how to mount these. I got to order some side skirts because it sounds like I'm not getting those either. So I think the guy I got these from, he's sold them or something. I'm trying to get these wheels off of him because he wanted those back too. So yeah, I'm kind of losing parts here real quick, but I got the main drivetrain, so we'll see where this goes. Hopefully I can work a deal with him. Yeah, we'll see where it goes. I'm trying to do this on the cheap just because I don't have a ton of money to dump into this. I have other projects I'd rather put money in. I'm just building this because it's cool, and I'm pretty sure you guys out there are going to want to see this. It's going to be fun, and yeah, Dylan wanted to do it. I really do want to do it. I can't lie. I do want to do it. It's going to be rad. It's something totally unique. I had a rough night last night. My kids have been sick for a couple days now. My daughter got it really bad last night. I was up super late with her. I'm kind of feeling like crap now. So I got to get some stuff done on this thing though. So my tube came today. I think it's Friday. My tube came. This, I was originally, and I may still do this. I was going to use it on the bottom of this Jeep body here to connect the two after I get all the rust fixed and the pieces put back together. I was going to bolt that in there kind of like Jeeps have like rocker guards and stuff. It'll also allow me to have something structural to bolt through, to bolt this body to this car. Sorry, you guys. I'm a little under the weather. It sounds like I might be getting these rockers and some of the dash stuff from the guy that gave me this car. He kind of hit me up last night, said that I might be able to be getting some of that stuff. Because literally he took the parts off this car and put it on another BMW and made it like super awesome. Because I believe this is like an M series BMW, which is a higher end grade one. The one he had wasn't. So he took all the good stuff off of here and put it on that car and then wrapped it like this like blue color. He recently sold that car, and the guy that bought it from him was going to take a lot of the parts that were off this car. It sounds like maybe he doesn't want them now or something, so I may end up being able to buy some of these parts from this guy. So we'll see. I got to contact him. I'm just not feeling good enough to really want to talk to anybody today. I had a guy contact me yesterday about building him these handrails for his front of his house. It's a big project, you guys. It's really big. I'm not sure if it's something I can get done before winter, and it's kind of one of them jobs where I got to build it at this guy's house. So we'll see if I take it on or not. I texted him today and told him I call him next Friday because I'm just not feeling super hot. But anyways, story of my life. I'm sick. That's where it's at. We're gonna get onto this. I'm gonna try to get this done today, even though I feel like crap. I got to get my tube cut for this. You guys saw this earlier. So I put these tubes in. They bolt to the top of the strut. I'm essentially making a strut tower here. Brace, sorry. From this one to this one. I originally said I was going to tie to these two bolts down here. I don't think I'm going to do that now. I think I'm going to tie them to here maybe. The actual main frame structure of the unibody, because this is a little bit thicker material in here. I may make two plates and then I'll run them up this way, like from this plate up to my bar, from that plate up to my bar. The reason I want to do that is I spent some money. I bought me a rib nutter, you guys. So we're going to take this and we're going to put rib nuts in that unibody on these plates so this thing's totally removable. I'm going to build two plates, one here, one there. I'm going to put rib nuts in this car on each side so I can bolt that plate to the frame rail right there. Over there and right here. Sorry, I'm getting some wicked shadows from my high bay lights. What that'll allow me to do is run my bars, you know, from the frame rail up to this cross member to support that cross member. It'll make this car way more rigid when I cut this car off up here. It'll keep that shock tower stable when I cut this off, because I'm literally probably going to cut most of this fender out because it's smashed anyways. We'll see though. I'm going to major for this bar, get this bar cut, get it notched, get it dropped in here, get it tacked, then I'll start working on these. Maybe I'll make the plates first so I can see where I got to put the rib nuts in, or I'll be able to get the rib nutter in there without the bar being in there. Pretty sure I'm gonna have to do that first. And I've never used this thing before. I kind of messed with it yesterday a little bit, trying to figure out how it works. I got this, and it's got all sorts of different dies. I got 10 millimeter, 6 millimeter. There's a whole bunch of standard sizes in here too, somewhere. 5/16, 18, half 13, 3/8, 16. So I kind of know how this thing works. It's pretty neat. I'm actually gonna try to start doing like tools of the month kind of things, you guys. So all these will be probably linked to our website. So you can purchase these through our website, I believe. Dylan and my wife are working on that. So keep an eye out for that, you guys. I'm gonna start trying to do like tool of the month or tool every other month. New tools, something you guys haven't seen. We'll have links to all these that you can buy through our website. So keep that in mind. As you're watching me do this stuff, if you want the tool, it'll probably be on there more than likely. We're still trying to figure it out. I'm no computer genius. Dylan does most of that stuff for me. So yeah, that's kind of where we're at. I'm gonna get these, start working on these plates, figure out where I need to, how I need to make them. There looks like there's a little slope in the unibody. I don't know if it's curved or if it just slants down. It's kind of hard to tell from here, but I'm gonna get in there, make the plates, start getting these bars cut. Actually, you know what? The first thing I gotta do, because I can't get that pipe up there. Look at my bench. I've just been hacking on stuff and just throwing crap on my bench. I got all this dirt from this Jeep. I think I need to pick up a little bit first, get everything kind of back where it goes, so I can continue working. I just got a little out of control here. Everything's just nuts right now. I got a lot going on, so I'm gonna pick this up so I can get my piece of tube up here, because I made this bench. This wall is 40 feet long. In my shop, it's 40 feet. So this bench is just a little bit under 40 feet. It works very well. When my metal comes in, I just throw it on and I feed it right into my saw, boom, boom, or wood, because I got both my saws set up on this little rolly cart, and it's level. I shimmed it up so it's level with the table. So as you just set your material on there, you can just cut it and the rest of your material stays on the bench. It works out really well. Yeah, that's kind of why I made my shop with 4 foot here. And then all these sections are a lot smaller, just so I could put this bench in here knowing this is where I was gonna work, because my wood stove's over here too. So yeah, that's kind of what I'm gonna do for now. I'm gonna get this done, and then I'll show you when I start putting the plates in. I may use some of this. This is 5" by 3/16. Like I said, I was gonna use that for the rockers on this, to kind of tie these two bodies back together, cover up the iffy sheet metal work that I'm probably gonna do, because I've never done it before. So I have, just not a lot of it. So we'll see how that goes too. But that'll hide some of this where this is really ugly. I mean, you guys can see that is just hammered. Somebody gets gobbed Bondo over it instead of fixing it. So now I'm stuck with fixing it. Yeah, so that's kind of where we're at. I'll show you where I get on that strut brace. All right, you guys, I swept my shop a little bit. Cleaned up. Well, that bay, I didn't do this bay yet. I'm gonna wait till this thing's kind of a little more mobile and pull it out. I got a lot of hacking to do on it still. Let me find a tape measure. I'll show you what I did. So, I'm struggling, you guys. I feel like crap. Anyways, so we're making this strut support. I hope I can do this. I'm gonna measure across here. This is 2-inch tube, so it's gonna line up a little different than if I was coping it to like another piece of Schedule 40 pipe. But I kind of measured across here. I literally, when I'm doing this, I always cut this just a little bit long. So my tape measures here. It's gonna actually, I'm gonna have to cope this because this is round, because the tube's gonna come in about right there. So I gave myself about a 1/2 inch on each side. I'll probably end up cutting most of that off, but I always like to leave it long so I can get a really good cope. So this lines up very well. And that 1/2 inch is from the outside of the tube in, is about where I measured. It measures out at about 40 inches, you guys. So I got my bench all cleaned off so that I can get this done. I got my tube up here. I measured off 40 inches right there. So that's mine. Whoop, I'm gonna have to move my speaker. But yeah, I'll get it over here and I'll chop it off. Then I'll start coping it and stuff. If I keep pushing this, I'm gonna push my speaker right off my bench. Hey, see? That's why I made that bench there. That's a 21-foot stick of 1.25" schedule 40 pipe, and it lays up there perfectly. So, wow, that's a pretty good eyeball. There's my mark. Pretty close. So we'll get this cut off, then I'll show you guys how I kind of cope it. I do have, what's it called? I don't even know what the hell it's called, you guys. I'm struggling. I just feel poopy. A notcher. I have a notcher somewhere. I never use it, you guys. I hate it. It takes longer. If you're doing like a whole bunch of repetitive, like where you're blowing open, you know, 30 pieces of tube that are, you know, a couple inches long, it works great because you just sit there and the problem is my drill press is kind of a piece of junk. It doesn't like to notch very well because it's actually, I got this from a guy I work with, Dad. It's got this on here. This is a motor out of a treadmill on the back of this thing. This is a central machine drill press. It's a piece of junk. You know, it works okay when you're using small drills and stuff like that. Once you start getting into hole saws and blah, 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 it just don't work worth a crud. But I do have a notcher somewhere. Hey, right there. That's my notcher. Put your drill on here. I usually mount this into here, then just use this to notch. I may set it up for this. I don't know. It seems like a lot of work. It's just time consuming trying to get it all to line up and then set your tube in there and notch it. I usually just take my plasma cutter and I plasma cut a little arc in the end of the tube here on both sides. And then I just use my grinder and grind it and get a nice good fit on that tube coming into that strut tower. Or strut support, whatever you want to call it. So that's probably what I'm going to do, just because I don't want to get that thing out and get it all set up. I guess I could throw it in the vise here and use my manual drill. This one, my rigid one. Maybe that's what I'll do, just to show you guys how it works. Maybe I'll do one side that way and I'll do the other side by hand, just so you can kind of see how I do it. Most stuff when I'm building roll cages, a lot of times you're holding the tube up to a tube and you're kind of like, okay, then you grind a little bit, check it, grind a little bit, check it. It's way easier, especially when you got tubes coming at all these funky angles, than trying to set up that notcher. To me, it's a pain in the butt. I can do it a lot quicker by hand with my plas and a grinder than I can anything. So maybe that's what I'll do. I'll set one up, I'll show you how it works, and we'll grind the other one by hand. Sorry, I hear somebody driving by. I'm trying to see who it is. Oh, it's out on the main road. So that's what I'll do. I'm gonna get this cut off and then I'll show you guys. I wonder if I can get you set up here. I'm actually clamping you in my vise right now. Hey, look at that. The good thing about cleaning is I found like 100 pairs of safety glasses. Alright, you guys, this is what it's got. So here's my hole saw. It's got this little threaded nipple that screws into your hole saw, and then your shaft screws into that. So we'll get that screwed all the way down in there. It's just like an adapter from this shaft to the actual hole saw one. So now we got that mounted in there. We'll slide this back into here. Once I get closer to cutting this one side, I'll bring you guys over here so you can see it a little closer. maybe gravity will work for us. Okay, I got her kind of set up. This is kind of the easier way of doing it. So literally, here's my pipe. I got it clamped in here. Usually I clamp this in my drill press over there, so I can poke these holes out. It's a lot more accurate straight up and down wide, to me at least. So I got this thing set at, geez, this thing's been sitting a while. It's super dirty. So I got it sitting right at 0 here. There's a little gauge along the back side of this. I think this is probably like a Harbor Freight tubing notcher. I got this also from guy's dad that I work with when he passed away. So literally you put your tube in here, you kind of line this up, kind of lining it up just so where this is going to cut through is level with this edge right here. So as soon as it cuts through, you'll see that that'll be perfectly right there. Let's see if I can find a spot to put you guys where you can still see and not fall over. Oh, that's sweet. We'll see how loud this is, you guys. I don't know. WD-40, I'm just using that as lube. Okay, pretty quick. Where's my piece? Ow. So you can see it fish mounted, you guys, so that sits perfectly in there. And now when I make my weld, I'm gonna have awesome ties through there. You know what else I'm gonna do, you guys? I'm actually gonna go see if this fits in the car first. I have a feeling those are in manual with it. My tube's way long, you guys. I don't know, maybe I mismeasured, maybe I'm sick. I gotta cut a little more off. The good thing about it is, you guys, now that I got this notched, I can literally measure from the lowest point on this notch, 38.5, which is what the distance is to the other side of that tube, make my mark, and that's where I got a hole saw to. All I gotta do is make sure I get this lined up 90 degrees to where my hole saw is going through. So let me get this mark cut off here, because I did it way too long. Don't know what I was measuring, but it was wrong. I probably just left myself way too much excess because I was gonna grind it by hand. Yeah, you can see there's my mark. That's going to be the bottom of the cope, so I got to make sure that I cut this off just a little long up in here, so that when I cope it, the bottom of my cope hits right down there, and then this should drop right in place, you guys. So you got to chop a little bit of this off. The problem with leaving that much as you're trying to cut through, sometimes your piece of material will bottom out in your hole saw, and then you got to stop and do a little cut to get it out of there. So it's good to have a lot less material so it doesn't get jammed in your hole saw. So I cut it off just about a 1/2 inch, 5/8 of an inch longer than where my mark was at 38.5. And now when I stick this bad boy in here, okay, you guys, I must be feeling like crap and just struggling, and I cannot run a tape measure apparently today. So, and I just dropped my camera, so this just got cut off really short. Sorry. Look what I did. I'm off. About a 1/4 inch. I'm struggling, guys. Just feel rough today. I don't know if I'm sick, tired, drank too much beer last night, or maybe all the above. Good thing is I'm going to save this piece of tube. I'm going to end up using these where I notched it, because I told you I was going to. So essentially you guys are getting the idea of what I'm doing here. I'm running a bar between these two tubes. I'm going to recut this one, re-notch it, all that. But what I'm going to do is cut these plates right here. We're going to get our rib nutter out. We're going to get these rib nutted in first, so I have somewhere to screw into. And then we're going to use this piece of pipe to run these diagonals up to here and back down to the frame. Then I'll cut a new piece for here. So I won't scrap this whole piece of tube. I'm going to lose a little bit of it, it looks like, but I'm really going to try to angle these way out here, this way and this way, to kind of hold this, instead of going to these two that I said I was originally going to go to. I just feel like going to this part of the frame, it'll help give this frame some structure here. Yeah, and I just like it better than trying to go to here. I don't know what this is hooked to underneath. I can't imagine it's anything too significant. Those look almost like they're rib nutted in from the bottom going this way with a stud kind of deal coming up. So yeah, we're not going to do that. We're going to go to these frames. I'm going to put some rib nuts in here and put a big plate across here, so we can bolt it in. Probably one on each side, and then we'll run our tube up to here and down to here. That way. But I'm going to recut this because I screwed it up. I don't like the way it's fitting. So attempt number 2. Damn. Okay, we'll put you guys back here where you can see me working. We'll try this again. Good thing I bought a whole stick of this. There you have it. This is just a scrap piece that I had that I'm checking with. Look at you guys. Took me minutes to cope that thing too. Looks like I need to go a little bit more on that side. You set your tube this way, hold this at 90, you can see that's going uphill. So I know I need to go down a little bit on that side to get a perfect cope. Close. Now you guys can see why I like this method better. Because literally, it took me longer to set that whole contraption up, get my drill and everything. I can have this thing coped in minutes with my grinder. So, and the good thing about it is too, like if you have a cope coming in like this, trying to set that thing up at that angle and get it coped, it's gonna take so long. Whereas I can just mark it with my pencil. Usually if it's a big angle like that, I'll come in with my plaz a chunk out and then come back and grind it out with my flap disc. But yeah, you can see that thing's spot on now. So, two different ways of doing it, you guys. There's more than one way to skin a cat, is what they say. Those are two different ways. So, yeah, either method it works. Like I said, I just feel like the hole saw and the notcher just takes so much longer to me, especially when I'm doing like a roll cage or, you know, if I was doing a production run of like, you know, 100 of the exact same tube, then I would use that notcher. Oh, look at that, right in there. Perfect. Okay, I'm gonna get these made up and then I'll notch that, or not notch it, get this tacked in, get this put in, get my other two tubes notched and put in. All right, I'm gonna get off here. I'll show you guys where you're gonna get. All right, guys, I did want to show you this. If you guys are cutting angle iron, I'm gonna use these for my angled pieces. If you're cutting angle iron, if you put it this way in your saw and you're trying to cut down through this, you're really making your saw work really hard, because when it hits here, I don't know if anyone's tried to just cut like flat bar like this in this direction, it takes forever to try to go through this, because it's cutting on both sides of your wheel as it's going through, because it's going through here, it's cutting here and here. If you flip your angle iron this way and cut it, it goes right through angle iron like it's butter. So just a little trick, always mark on this back corner and cut it this way. Throw it in your saw here, it's still square. It goes through angle iron way easier that way. So these are gonna be my two back plates. I'm gonna get these all cleaned up. We'll mark some holes. I'll get some holes drilled. I gotta figure out what size rib nuts I'm gonna use, because we're gonna use our new rib nutter to do this. But these are gonna mount on that unibody this way, and then my tube will be welded to here and come up. So I'll show you where I get there. When I get there, like I said, I got to clean up all these burrs on my grinder and stuff. So let me get that done, and then we'll get back on, excuse me, trying this rib nutter. Since I've never done it before, you guys are going to experience it for the first time with me. All right, you guys. So as I've been tearing these two this car and this Jeep apart, I've been just collecting bolts and nuts and just throwing them in this coffee can. So I poured them out and I found 6 of these. They're all the same size. I'm pretty sure they came off this car. So then I found, see if I can hold you here. Nope, I can't. See if I can set you up. All right, so I found my rib nut. It's an 8 mil. So this thing rolls on there. This will be pinched in the sheet metal so I can bolt this into the car. So we're gonna try this. I've never done it before, so we'll see how it goes. It should be pretty easy. So we need to find our 8 mil. What the heck? Oh, that's weird. So apparently they put the M first. I would have put it in the back, but so there's our 8 millimeter one. Ah! Where's the other part? Oh, there it is. So there's 2 pieces to this. This is the die essentially for these 8 millimeters. They screw right on there. This is a piece that holds it on. And it actually goes this way, I believe. Like that. So then you pull it, and then it takes this and it pulls it through and crunches it. So we got to get that die into here. Essentially, it's got this thing floats right here. It also floats right there in the middle. So that's how you undo this. You got to get it down past there so that you can undo this part. You can see how it unscrews. And the same with this top, it unscrews right there. So this piece down here that I can push, it has a hex thread. So once you get it down in there, you pull it up and it's like a sleeve that goes over this hex. That's essentially how it works to put these dies in. So same concept, we'll pull that down, screw it in. Oh, sorry, I can't see it. Yeah, so let me see if I can show you. So see how the 2 hexes line up, and then that slides over it. Then this piece is kind of the guide for it, I believe. So that screws on there. Get that good and tight. You put this in here. So you open this up, and then when I squeeze these, it'll actually crush this right here. This should pull these threads up flush where it pinches the sheet metal right in between here. We'll see how many times it takes to squeeze it, if it's just one pull or multiples, I don't know yet. So we will see. This is a learning curve for me too, you guys. It's the first time I've used this tool, but I think it's gonna be very handy in the future. So we'll keep our 8 mils. The one thing I did do, I measured these, you guys. So it's a 310, so I need to drill 310 clearance holes in here. I'm gonna put one there, there, and there. That'll bolt it into the frame. Our bushings, our 8 mil bushings, or rib nut, these guys, they measure, oh, I wrote 410, but it's actually 430. About 430, so we'll drill the hole in the car at a 430 so that this can drop in there and then crunch around the sheet metal. So we will get to drilling some holes here in these brackets, and then I'll drill some holes. I'll set these in place and use these for a guide to drill the car out for the bushing holes. So let me get these holes drilled out and then we'll go from there. I literally just eyeballed these guys where I thought they looked right in the car. I was gonna measure them and stuff. I'm not gonna. So I'll get this one drilled and then I'll copy it onto this one. Drill them in the same spot so at least they're the same. I got some transfer punches. I might just eyeball them. We'll see. These are not really that critical, so let me go get these holes drilled. We'll go over here and find us a drill, a couple drills, which could take us a while because I don't like to put my drills back in the drill index, so they just end up everywhere. Here, 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 and my drill index is up there and it's like half full. So we gotta find the right size drill here. It's gonna take me a while. Let's see where I can get you guys set up here. Yeah. All right. What did I say? 310, I think. I'll laugh if I get it the first try. Ah! 315, that'll work. Let me just verify, but I'm pretty sure that'll be enough clearance. Pretty good calibrated eyeball. First one I picked out of the pile, 315. Pretty awesome. Light. Oops, I'm totally going the wrong way. I don't know what I'm doing. Doink. Right. I'm gonna go stamp these, or not stamp them. Center punch them, sorry. Hey guys, I just went through and I just center punched my holes. 1, 2, 3. Just helps this drill press line up a little better. It's kind of a piece of crap, I'm not gonna lie. Now you guys can kind of see the problem with this thing. It likes to take off sometimes, because like I said, it's a motor out of a treadmill that runs it. Ah, 2 holes drilled. It does work very well for this kind of stuff though. You start getting into hole saws and stuff like that, it gets a little iffy. Because you really have to be going pretty fast for it to actually work well. Because it doesn't have any low end torque. Okay, there's the last one. Now, we will transfer these onto this one.